Greetings, YouTubers. This is Jean, aka the Brooklyn Blue Jay, bringing it to you on SNOWPOCALYPSE. Yes, my dear, there's been like a big blizzard here in New York City, and you know I'm in Brooklyn, so it's not horrible. But in other places in throughout the state and the city, there's some places that got hit really bad. So yeah, I've been messing around with my tank today and, you know, jumping on and off the YouTube, watching some videos. A big shout out to my homeboy Dee from Brooklyn. Thank you so much, brother, for giving me a shout out yesterday. I really appreciate that, and big hug to you, and you know, hope that you're doing better. Yeah, thank you so much for that. So anyway, here goes the 20-gallon. I was having a problem with the LEDs. I don't know what's wrong with them, but they started to dim out. So they just were growing dimmer and dimmer. And I really do not know how LEDs work. But yeah, I wound up just swapping those out and putting back those the CFLs that I had on there previously. I forget, I believe these are 18 watts each, 6500K each CFLs. And I put this little egg crate back on. You know, one of my another one of the glow light tetras jumped out, and I again, same situation, found him dead on the floor over here by the closet. So that was very upsetting. But I put the egg crate back on to diffuse some of this light. I don't know, I might cut it down a bit and just rest the diffuser on top of the glass canopy. I'm debating about that one because you know, this room, it gets very warm in here, and so the water evaporates very quickly when I have this type of setup or the open setup. So yeah, I was having a lot of problems in here with the plants. A lot of melt. My high grows, they 80% of them are gone, 90% of them are gone. They just melted away. That was upsetting. And as far as here, the lobelia, some of this just started breaking away and floating up. You could see one of them up there on the top. So, you know, I was just having all these problems suddenly, a lot of this melting, and it was just a real bad mess in here. So I did a water change. I changed out the lights, as I said, and you know, I'm hoping that things are going to bounce back. The tank does look a whole lot brighter now. I have a ton of this water sprite that's been floating up here on the top. Not as much frogbit or dwarf water lettuce as I used to have. A lot of that got taken out, but I do have a lot of water sprite floating, and I had a whole massive amount of wisteria floating, and I decided to try to, you know, shove that down in the rocks and see, you know, in the substrate, and see if that does anything. So I don't know, my tank's not very happy right now, but wish me luck, and hopefully things will switch up and change up in here a little bit. The shrimp tank is dark, and the reason why is I do have a lot of floating plants in there. I mean, it is, I mean, let's see. I mean, if you could see in there, I don't know if I can capture it. No, it just looks all white. But I mean, it's covered. The top of the tank is totally covered with floating plants, with frogbit. So yeah, I have got to take all of that out, or 90% of that out, and I'm gonna give that stuff away. Again, I also have some of this, like I have water, wisteria and water sprite floating around in here as well, as you can see. I have been doing some research about shrimp, and I think I've been unintentionally killing off a lot of potential babies from being born, because I do weekly water changes in here, and I was reading that You shouldn't do frequent water changes if you have buried females, because they will shed their, they'll molt, shed their exoskeleton, and then they, that just drops the eggs prematurely. They don't develop, and then you don't have your baby. So I think that's what I've been doing, because I find my females buried up. It's so dark in here, you probably can't see them, but my females, they bury up, but then they don't deliver. So I had 2 successful spawns in this tank. One yielded 4 babies that have made it into their, adolescence, and then another single baby that's growing in here. So I've had a few babies, but not a lot, considering that I have 2 females in here that bury up frequently. They're 2 gals are almost always preggers. So I should definitely see better results than what I have been. And yes, just staring at this tank, and you cannot see, there's like 8 shrimp out front. And the light is just so dim in here that I doubt you can see anything. But yeah, there's a bunch of them hanging out in the front of the glass. I actually fed them today, but no, I didn't do a water change. And yes, the water is going low, and that, whatever, aesthetically it just doesn't look good. But I'm just gonna wait on doing water changes on this tank now, and continue to do my research. And thank you for replying back to me, DETAquariums. He's the shrimp man, one of the shrimp men out there amongst you guys. And thank you so much for responding to my inquiries. And I'm going to get you more information as soon as I can. Yeah, so this tank up here is like a 6.3 pH. I did the water testing on that. And that one down there is like a 6.5. So, yeah, the pH levels on here are pretty low. And 0 ammonia in both tanks. Those are the tests I've done so far. I haven't done any of that other stuff that's included in the master test kit. You guys are all familiar with that is. But anyway, Gene, I like to just ramble and pontificate. So hope you guys, if you are out in the East Coast, Boston or whatever, please hope you guys are safe and warm. And for the rest of you guys, we're jealous because, you guys have all the good, nice, sunny weather. So this is Jean, a.k.a. the Brooklyn Blue Jay. Be well all.